Hi guys, we're making our first batch of compost tea in our earth brewer. We filtered out some worm castings from our worm bin, which we've showed you in the past, and show you some more. I'm sure I'm obsessed with my worms. They're like my little pets. I get to feed them poop and they love me. Okay, so we're gonna put this into this bag. This bag is gonna fill up. We're still figuring it out. There's an air stone inside of here. This air stone is gonna help extract all the microbes out of the worm poop and put it into the water. We're putting in a cup of olive oil. The olive oil is gonna stop it from over foaming and getting too like a bubble bath. And then we also put in some black molasses in order to feed the microbes. And we're also not just using the worm castings, but we're also going to be putting in the EM1s that we've been brewing to inoculate the grain that's coming back from the brewery. So hopefully we'll be brewing EM1s and soil microbes and feeding that all out to everybody on the whole farm. Very exciting. We're just using a simple crate here to strain the big pieces of compost that need more breaking down from what can go into the compost tea brewer. And so you can see that this filters out and you get just the small pieces, and the big pieces can go back in or can get put under trees for fertilizer. We try to put the worms back in the worm bin. We don't want them to drown in the compost tea brewer. We're pouring the EM1s in, so we're making EM1s as well as the other soil microbes. We've been growing these for a while, but we started with a EM1 from the internet. We bought a 5-gallon, and we've been just growing more and more ourselves. So this order for right now, we're just doing it with only the molasses, but that's going to make a high bacteria, low fungi. But if you want both fungus and bacteria, then we have to. But honestly, because we have so much wood chips everywhere, I think our fungal count in our soil is actually higher. And so for right now, we'll just keep doing it the way that we're doing it we just did it until this other stuff arrives. Okay. But I think that we have a lot of fungus in our soil. And so because there's a lot of fungus because we put 18 inches of wood chips every year, and wood chips make fungus. Right. I think we want to make sure that we're getting the bacterial, but we want the balance of bacterial and fungal in the soil. So, but I'll get the fish emulsion, so then we should have balance. But for right now, we don't have fish emulsion or kelp. But I think we may have some seaweed over in the thing, so I'm gonna go look. And if we get the seaweed, then I'll put it in. And then so we just have to wait for this to finish filling.
8 hours, yeah, and turn it off when it's full.
Turn it off when it's full. Okay. Needed fish emulsion for my compost tea. So I'm going to see, I think I have kelp though, and it says you could use either or. So experiments with Molly, failing, didn't order all the ingredients. Not have any fish emulsion or any kelp, so I gotta order it. So we're basically only growing bacteria and no fungi in this first batch of compost tea, but it has the EM1s in it, and EM1s only need molasses to grow, so it'll be fine. And we'll do an updated video when I get my shit figured out. This is what it looks like hours later. Beautiful brown fertilizer. So now that we fed all that beautiful compost tea, and it was our first batch, and we didn't have the kelp or the fish emulsion, but with just the black molasses, the EM1s, and the compost, vermicompost, it came out beautiful, dark brown, and smelled delicious, smelled like EM1s and a little more earthy. So after brewing that for 13 hours, we siphoned it into here, and you can brew it for even more, like 24 hours, but it was warm yesterday, so it was reproducing quickly. And so now it's in here, and we're going to feed it out onto some crops, and that is the most exciting part about this, turning worm poop into fertilizer. So now all those microbes that we multiplied and multiplied and multiplied in the compost are getting fed out to the soil, getting fed out to these sweet potatoes. So this is amazing because we've been composting and we've been using worm castings, and we've been using manure, and we've been using pelletized fertilizer, but to just take the most important part of all that and be able to feed it right out in the irrigation system, that's amazing. Thank you for joining us for my first batch of compost vermiculture tea with my EM1s. And when I perfect my recipe, and I'm gonna play around with fish emulsion or kelp or yes EM1s, no EM1s, and when I get to my perfected recipe and I'm an expert instead of a novice, I'll come back and make another video. But thanks for stumbling along with me and learning and growing as I learn and I grow. If you found this video entertaining or interesting or educational, please like, subscribe, share, and comment below. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.